All right, hey there. Happy Friday, everybody. Good to see you here. It's a few minutes after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on, like I said, Friday. What is today? The 6th of August, 2021. Coming at you from beautiful Bernie, Texas. For how long? Who knows? I've got. It seems like I'm always moving around. Product of growing up, in the military, and having to move every few years. So. But anyway, good to see y'all checking in there. Man, NFP going off this morning, man. All good numbers there. They were expecting about 870,000 new jobs. They got 943,000, so almost a million new jobs. Let's see here. The May figure was revised from 850,000 to 938, so that's another positive. Unemployment rate, I believe we got down to about 5.4, and so that would be the best. That's the U3 unemployment rate, and that would be the best since March of 2015. But the U6, not quite as low there, 9.2. We haven't been that low since February of 2017. It's a tick better for the workforce participation, 61.6 increased to 61.7%. And then monthly wage gains are up, about 0.4%. Yearly wages, that's monthly wages, and then yearly wages rose to about 4%, which it was expected to be 3.8. So if you're wondering what's going on, if you're trading Forex or equities or whatever, you wonder what's going on, that's what's going on. The dollar is getting a big boost from all that. The big reason being with inflation, doing what it's doing now, with the inflation rate rising, as fast and strong as it is, and then with the economy doing so much better, in terms of expectations, that's going to put a lot of I don't care what the Fed is saying, man. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the Fed to taper. And so if they're slowing down that bond purchases, that again is going to be even more bullish for the dollar. So, definitely, because it'll signal that you've probably got higher interest rates coming. And so as always, the higher your interest rate, the more valuable your currency becomes. And so, as buyers, you guys, you want to, you want the low interest rates, right? But in terms of how strong the dollar is, you want higher interest rates because that means, people can loan it out and make more money. So it's bullish for the dollar. So a lot of that going on there. And that's not so good for equities because if the Fed steps back from their bond buying, which they've been doing, 120 billion a month or something like that, all of a sudden, you're going to find out just how much the stock markets have been held up by the Fed's bond buying there. So Fed's kind of finding itself, I think, in a trap here. It's going to have to taper, and in doing so, potentially be the pin that pricks the bubble there. So just keep watching with it, guys. Always good to see y'all checking in. Who's here already? I got Ross Mark here. Mark, what's going on as well? That would be Ross Mark, and then Mark Chenard there. Navlusia and Hank, what's going on? Silvio is here. Scott is here. Cue the action. Data. Let's see here. Is that Yuba Yogi? Hey, good to see you, man. Finally get to see me during a pump, right? There was that period a few years back where it seemed like every time at 10 a.m. when I was doing the streams, I was doing them daily, the market would just drop on us. That was crazy. I didn't feel bad, though. It wasn't my fault. It just seemed to happen when we did there. Let me see here. Michael, what's going on, buddy? Aramis is here as well. YouTube TV Canal is here. Let's see here. Ryan, what's going on? Kerouac is here. Let me see. Kind of figure out who else. Anybody else here? Michael R is here. Yeah, so... Yeah, Hank, he says the Dow Jones is at a new all-time high, so the deflation thesis has not been proven yet. It is what it is. It doesn't happen overnight. Just watch it. Watch what happens. That's all I'm saying. Other than that, sit back, be quiet. I'm the bus driver. Tell y'all to be quiet in the back there, right? No, really. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good here. It was a good report off there, which really kind of gave the dollar more strength. So we'll see how this continues to play out here. But right now, it's looking pretty positive for the dollar. Let's see here. Mike King, what's going on? La Lopez is here as well. Good to see you. Yes, Bitcoin moving a bit up here as well. Real quick here, guys. As always, you can join us at howtotradetowin.com. And guess what? If you have not joined us before, you can get in for, use that code right there. What is that? Tier 3 monthly 40% off. You can get 40% off 1 month of Tier 3 access. That's for new members only. So if you haven't been with us before, if you haven't been through our system on the site, jump on it, get you a month there, and then just be ready to soak up as much education as possible, guys. We've got over 100 hours, gosh, probably well over 110 hours by now of video education. 3 live streams a week. Mondays are Wyckoff. Wednesdays are tips, tricks, and techniques, which usually include rules-based trading strategies. And then Thursdays are Elliott Wave. And then, of course, we have all, the other education there. We've got chart requests, chart critiques. The whole idea is just to get you guys to trade better, to get you to understand what's going on, so that you can be successful. If you're not, if you're giving it your all and you're honestly trying and you're not becoming more successful, then what I'm doing isn't worth it. So, I'm real serious about that. So we try really hard, guys. But anyway, we'd love to have you there. Let me see here. Kerouac saying some golden trading tools over here at TWC over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, we've done some really good stuff there. A lot of opportunities, a lot of different ways to help you guys view the markets. And that's what it's all about, right? So anyway, you guys can jump in there and do that. By the way, remember, if you're signing in, if you're checking out with us there is, many of y'all, you just don't read real quick there, right? There is a box where it's always like that second address, if you live in an apartment or something like that. But if you don't live in that, as it says in the description of the box, put NA. It has to have something there. This software just goes nuts if it doesn't. It gives you a whole bunch of the same error over and over again. We are actively looking for a new membership backend to use where we can just migrate our members to. That's hopefully going to be, because that error stuff just is just ridiculous. Man, I'll tell you what, sometimes it's hard being, just a small business. You don't have all this, these tens of millions of dollars to employ whole departments of IT to deal with everything. So anyway. So there, guys, you can join in there and do that. We'd love to have you all here, man, seriously. By the way, I want to show you this new feature here of Tradingview. This is this morning. You can get this if you go to this link. I know most of you all use Tradingview. If you go to that link right there, if you haven't heard, Sparks is basically just this curated list of news, basically. And it's to help you kind of figure out market research, depending on what you're trying to do. They notified us this morning that this was out. So kind of interesting, it tells you, like right here, self-driving cars. It gives you all the symbol types, stock sectors. Gives you potential quotes of different ones to use within that. Things that'll be that should be considered in that category. What things are a part of it. You got Nvidia for the card, the all that kind of stuff. Got Tesla, Apple, all those kind of things, upcoming earnings, stuff like that. So, if you're the kind to get out there and do some fundamental analysis, or do some kind of research and whatnot, even if you're just doing technical analysis and maybe you think that there's maybe a bottom coming up or a top coming up, check over here and see if there's something, listed in that news events and things that are going on, excuse me, that might be of interest to you. Or maybe you hear about something crazy going on, like Biden talking about this whole electric car thing, right? Man, jump over to the self-driving cars or electric cars or whatever you want to look at, and look at what kind of companies are in there and kind of figure from there where you might want to put your money. That's how you would probably use this best, guys. So just something I wanted to show you all there. By the way, the other thing they're doing, and I'm getting nothing from this, I'm just sharing it because it's kind of funny. You might have remembered their April Fool's joke, the limited edition of the tarot cards. But anyway, you can potentially get you a set of these limited edition cards. All you have to do, what do they say here? Simply click the link below and tweet this message. If the planets align and your chakras are in the right order, you could be picked to get on one of these super special limited edition packs delivered right to your door. You know what? I might do it just for the grins and giggles all about it. But, you know, Tradingview kind of keeping it light and happy in there. Kind of making it a fun time, you know. So if you're using Tradingview, try it and see if you can get that done. Oh, man. Let me see here. Oh, anyway, so yeah, Bitcoin, man. Wow. So, I get stupid comments every once in a while, and I'm not even going to be nice about this because it's just ridiculous. If there's one thing I have, because I have not been handed anything in my life. I did not come from where I am at right now. I had to work my way up here. Everything that I've gotten is precisely because I have done the things that I have needed to do. Nobody has given me a penny, right? Not family, not anything, okay? And so when you are so entitled that you expect free, man, you need to have a life check, seriously. Because I posted this chart right here. This is a life lesson, guys. I posted this chart right here talking about this descending wedge breakout that we had talked about over in Discord. And some Yahoo gets on there and says, "Oh yeah, you know, imagine charging for basic stuff." And I thought to myself, you know what? What an idiot. Because either he knew about it and it's fine, or he did know about it and he's upset he didn't get it for free. But if he knew about it, then it should be fine. He shouldn't have an issue. This is the dumbest thing, guys. If you go through your life expecting things to be handed to you, you will never get where I am at. I promise you. I promise you. You have to take responsibility for the things that are going on in your life and for your future, and you have to do the things that you have to do. You do not have to sit around and expect somebody to give to you. By the way, those of you who've been following me for years now, you know how much I've given for free. But that's beside the point. But the audacity of somebody coming in and saying, "Oh, this." I mean, guys, you need to check yourselves if that's the way that you feel about life. Because you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt. Because what I did was I posted this and I said, targets removed for Twitter. Just to let them know that there were targets associated with it, right? But all that Yahoo had to do was come into a live stream. He would have got all this information for free. But instead he goes on there, acts like an idiot. And I'll tell you what, I blocked him. I'll do that, guys. I have no problem at all. Don't give me no nonsense about, it's a free country. You should be able to talk. Or, you're just worried about whatever. No, I just don't have time for the nonsense. Either you are an adult, you are a well-adjusted adult, and you understand that nothing in life is free and you must work for the things you want, or you think the opposite. If you think the opposite, the world's going to be a harsh, harsh lesson, okay? And I have a feeling pretty much anybody around my age is over there laughing with me right now saying, yeah, exactly. We all come from that same period, guys. We weren't given anything. We've had to work for everything we've gotten. So just kind of some life stuff there, man, because, that's part of what we do here, right? Let me see here. Let me kind of see here. What time frame targets are you talking? Are you asking? Oh, you're somebody else. Okay. Can I unblock you now, high or low? You know you're not blocked, man. All right. So anyway, as we played through here, again, we gave... we had this bit of accumulation in this little reaccumulation here, this great breakout, which we were ahead of on. And so our members knew about that. It came back down here. We did this where it bounced perfectly off this descending support. And so we had this wedge. They knew about that. They got the breakout. We hit the target this morning, which was almost $3,100 of profit off that this morning. And then, of course, what was it, last night? I got to look at when the time is on here. Yeah, so last night's update, we had this descending channel here. So watching for the breakout there. Again, broke out, came back, retested his support as it usually does, took off. We're up above the target there. We're up above the swing high here. And so now that means we're headed up. Now, if I'm looking at this, I'm going, okay, this is a 1, 2. And if this is a 1, 2, then 3 is up here basically at the bottom of this. I've been talking about this supply structure. It seems like forever and a day, right? I was getting up there. And so if we do this, and we measure out wave 1 here, maybe if I can. Let's see. There we go. We get that wave 2 on there. You can see that wave 3 is right up there around that 46,600, 46,600 and 46,600, 47, or 46,800 kind of area. I can't even say it. About the $200 range, right at the bottom of that supply structure. And then we should pull back around that 44,000 level for wave 4. And then that gives us a wave 5 right up here around the EQ, guys. Right up here around 48,000. Whatever it happens to be, 300 or whatever. Just that EQ area right there. So that's where I'm looking at right now. That's what I'm looking at happening. Again, we are now above this previous swing high here. So good rally going on there. We'll be pulling back along the way, but lots of great setups over the last few days especially. It's been easy to make money with Bitcoin the last few days. So hopefully you guys have as well. We'll see what happens with all this. Let me kind of catch on with you guys here. Man, okay. You guys are talking here between yourselves. I was trying to figure out what you were saying. Is there a way to set up a counter that counts each time I say idiot? I'm probably, a bit more... I try to be real, positive, guys, and respectful. But at some point, when you get this constant give me for free, and then you want to try and rationalize it, there is no hope for you as long as you're trying to do that. I'm telling you guys, life is too short to sit there and waste it on this thought that somebody owes you something. Nobody in this world owes you a thing. Nobody, guys. And the only way you're going to get anywhere in this world is to have faith in yourself, to do your homework, to do your research that you need to do, to excel at whatever you're trying to excel at. You have to make your own way. That's all there is to it. And I would argue that if you're not constantly trying to improve, constantly trying to make your own way in this world, I would argue that life becomes stale. It becomes meaningless. You get meaning in overcoming obstacles and challenges, in bettering yourself. That's where you get meaning. Sitting around on your rear end having life given to you, there's no life in that. So, yeah. Hey, Samurisk, what's up, man? Good to see you here. Let me see here. What's going on, Lamb? Looking for another entry? Man, Lamb seems to be getting it on lately here. I love it, man. I love it. He's getting those profits, getting out, being able to get in again. Oh, man, I love hearing that. Hank says I would surprisingly maybe take some profit here. I don't know. I think, you got a little bit higher maybe to go. It looks like you've got a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But at minimum, you've probably got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and probably a 5 still at least to go. And you've got this, this 1, 2, and you have that 3, 4, 5. Remember, you can get, if you try to get out of a pump, it gets kind of difficult to get back in. But that said, guys, as long as you're locking in profit and you're consistently locking in profit, that is the goal. That's where you should be. As long as you're doing that, life's good. You'll find another entry. All right? Don't beat yourself up too much about it. I know a lot of you guys, you talk to me, you send me these messages. I answer a lot of messages every day. And you talk about how, oh man, I was doing great and I was in this and I made all this money. And so I took profit because I was worried about it. And then it went up without me. And you guys are sitting there beating yourself up over the fact that it continued higher without you, rather than congratulating yourself and reveling in the fact that you made all that profit. There's always going to be an entry, guys. But most often you might, if you're honest with yourself, most often you're going to notice that you're not taking profit when you should. That you're, and what I mean by that is that you don't take profit, and then it comes back against you and you're losing money. Either taking a much, much smaller profit or no profit at all, maybe even taking a loss. So if you're in there and consistently taking profit, guys, time and compound is going to take care of the rest of it. Stop being in a hurry to get rich yesterday. Okay? Because the more you do that, the more pressure you put on yourself to mess things up. And you're going to mess things up. There's no two ways about it, guys. So, if you take profit and it keeps going at you, that's fine. Look for the pullback. Look for the next entry. This is why we do what we do on Wednesdays. All these rules-based strategies that I teach every single Wednesday, man, for over a year now. I mean, these are different ways you can look at the chart to find an entry, especially within a trend. You know, depending on how deep or how shallow it pulls, you know, you've got a different strategy. So, you know, that's one of the biggest things that you can get there out of Tier 3 as far as that goes. Like I said, man, take advantage. If you're new and you haven't been with us, take advantage of that 40% off your first month and get in there and just start going through all the educational stuff, guys. Start going through all those Wednesday videos. They're all archived, so you get access to all of them that we've done over a year now. Go back and find the things that work for you. Find the things that can make you money. There are so many strategies that can make you money day in and day out. You just got to go find them. Figure out which one you want to use. That's all. Or better yet, learn more of them. So you've always got multiple tools in your tool belt, you know, as you go on with this. Let me see here. Michael R. says, if we have time, could you take a look at VGX? It's up nearly 100% this week. Y'all always ask me when they pop out afterward. Ask me before they go. Yeah, you know what? Here, let me go and look at that real quick right here. What is that? What'd you say, VGX? Oh, well, you know what? Let's look at the DXY here real quick, and then we'll look at that. But, man, look at that. So we've got this 1, 2, and then we've got this bit going up here. I've got this as an interior subwave 1, 2, and subwave 3 target up here around 92.984. That'll be subwave 3 of wave 3. So wave 3 itself, 1, 2, 3, has a target up here of 93.191. We've got the pattern target here, which is 92.935. By the way, if we hit that wave 3 target there, we just might break out above wave 1 here. And, of course, that just kind of gets us headed up even further then. But still looking up here, you know, looking up above 94 well, if we get the breakout above, remember, above this swing high over here at about 94.4, that'll give us that potential double bottom. Boom, boom right here. And that target then, based on the pattern there, is 97.626. That carries us above this wave 4 here, which is 742 right there. And that should just add confidence to the idea that we're headed down, that this was the macro low here. And then we've got a 1, 2 heading up here. That minimum wave 3 is up here at 95.165. So again, you'll get 1, 2, and then you've got a 1, 2, 3, and then you have 4 and a 5 will pull back, and that'll give you your 1, 2, 3 here. As a matter of fact, that larger degree 1, 2 here from the bottom from January. Let's see here. Yeah, see, so you'll have 3 here, you'll have 4 on the pullback, and you have 5 probably coming up here around 96.343, which takes you, as you can see here, look right left here, it takes you right there to that previous area of support and resistance if you keep going. So let's see how it's support right here, support again right here. So significant area to reach, and you know what we'd be expected there. Look at that. Look at the daily Stochh RSI though, just leaving oversold here now. If we look at this here, you've got a big large candle going through the daily pivot. Again, that's bullish. If you come in between your pivot and your S1 and you push up through that pivot and you're doing it on a large candle spread, and if they had volume here, likely large volume, you know, that would be bullish. And you'd be looking for a breakout above the swing high here and here. And probably getting up here at least to the R5. So there's nothing, I mean, if you look at this here, so you had this first major swing high here after this large move up, and you had the pullback, and you have all this overlap that finishes out. But look, it pulls back, and look where it finds support. Right here on this previous area of resistance. Look at this right here. Same area of resistance. It's this general support area here. So it came back, bounced off that. There's no reason not to think it's not going to go higher. I mean, you can't guarantee anything, but that kind of movement off that, I don't know how you see it do anything else, honestly. So, you know, still look for that dollar to continue rising on that. Making dollar bulls happy, making dollar bears cry. And I'm not always about making people cry, but you know what? Warned you back in January that you were 2 offsides. Warned you again when we had that second dip back down here in May. And if you're not listening, if you're getting those opportunities and you're not listening, I mean, that's on you. Life is what it is, right? Let me see here. What was that again? Where are we at here? VGX, huh? All right, I'm going to have to use a different chart here. We'll come back and look at oil here. VGT. All right. Let's see here. Vanguard information. Is that what we're looking at here? Let me know if that's the wrong one. That's the VGT I got pulled up here. You said up 100% in the last week. Let's see here. No, maybe that's the wrong one. Let me kind of catch up. Let me see to make sure it said VGT here. Man, I cannot find it. VGX. Ah, that's why. Okay. Sorry about that. I had the wrong one there. Okay, are you looking at, I guess you're looking at this one right here. Man, you're going to have to tell me what you're looking at exactly here. Who was that? Michael R. Yeah, let me know exactly who you're looking at there, okay? I've got the bag. Says, okay, very novice question, but any suggestions on how to learn to place orders on Femix? Yeah, you can just go right through their FAQ, man. It tells you on there. I'm not sure what you're having trouble with there. But yeah, you can get all the, it's all right there in their fact. The other thought is, if you can't find your question answered there, look at the FAQs on like Bybit or something like that. Something that's been around longer. They've got more well developed FAQs, and it'll be the same way. I think you're talking about because of perpetual contracts, right? So yeah, if that's the case, yeah, just look at that, and it'll tell you in there how to do that. Let me see here. Just trying to catch up. Man, y'all are talking here. I got to catch up with you. My talks are always great. Well, I'm glad you appreciate them there, Yuba. Let me see here. Hank is now saying mid-80s for DXY. He says for the meme now, but it could also just happen. Yeah, it could still just happen, but right now, I mean, the dollar with everything that's going on structurally, with the economy and everything, and how that forces the Fed's hand, I would give it such a low probability of actually getting, below the January lows now. Now, we still have to go up higher, obviously, to confirm what we're doing here, but again, using the structure of the economy and the backdrop right now for what's going on, and what the Fed is, probably going to be forced into doing, it makes it much, much more likely it'll continue higher. Because the Fed can't sit there and continue to ignore inflation in the face of a booming economy, right? Which is what it looks like at the moment. Everything's green. Everything's going up. Everything's rising faster than expected in terms of, rising or dropping, in their most bullish ways, more than expected. So now, what does that mean as the end of year coming up? We got other things coming up, guys. We've got the rent moratorium, foreclosure moratorium thing. That's being discontinued. That's come to its end. Now, there's supposedly, from what I saw, I think I saw a quick news thing on it, that some areas where the Delta variant is showing up a lot more, they might get like another 60 days on the moratorium. But then we've got the student loan moratorium thing ending here in the end of August or September. So now all of a sudden people are going to have to pay rent. They're going to have to pay their student loans again. Man, that's a lot of pressure on the economy there. And so that could halt things. But as long as the inflation keeps running away and the economy keeps pumping, The Fed just can't sit there on its hands. It's going to have to do something. And that something is tapering. You're going to ease that bond buying, and if they ease in that bond buying, you're going to see the stock market start to falter. You're going to see them start keeling over. So, we'll see how that plays out here. Andrew Bennett, good to see you. Better late than never, my friend. Sylvia says, the time I started, lost a lot of Bitcoin, and that time Bitcoin was 4,000. But if you look now, how much it is these days, it's so if you're starting to use a smaller account in later time, you can do a bigger account. Yeah, it's all about perception, guys. Everybody's concerned about, they didn't buy at 3,500 or, they didn't buy at 30,000. So then they're hesitant about buying. But the problem is it keeps going up, right? Eventually, if it does, right? And this is where you have to understand what you're doing. If you're fearful of buying, with Bitcoin right now, on a larger time frame, like on a daily or something, to me, it's only because you don't know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing and using proper risk management, then there's no fear in buying. And I would argue Bitcoin's giving you a good, heads up that, hey, we're trying to really be bullish here and we're probably going to continue higher. That low might be in. No guarantees, obviously. But, I think there's a lot of things going on there that are very bullish right now. Let me see here. Crypto BTC Anarchist showing up again at 2 a.m. Always good to see you, my friend. Checking in from Australia over there. It's the Texas of the Southern Hemisphere, right? Can we say that? Let me see here. Let's see here. I'm just kind of catching up with you guys here. Hey there, Matthew Dunn. Good to see you checking in, man. I'm doing well. Hopefully you are also. Let's see here. Andrew Bennett says, Voyager, Bitcoin bull pennant now? Where are we at here? Where's my Bitcoin chart? There we go. Bull pennant where? On, did you say daily? Daily bull flag forming? Let me check here. Let me zoom out a bit or take this off. Do you mean like this right here, maybe? Potentially, but I think you've probably got more of a wedge, a descending wedge going on here than anything. And we've already broken out of that. So, yeah, I mean, you can throw that, you can maybe throw this on here. I think that's what you're talking about, right? And you can see that right there. You can see how this works real well as resistance. So if we break out of this here, if you guys want a pattern target based on this large descending channel here, you're looking like about just about $28,000 above the point of breakout is what you're looking at. If you want to do that. It's so big here. And yeah, that would be in line with expectations, that gets you up there around those low 70s. That's initially where we're looking as this pumps up here from where we're at. So, again, it makes a lot of sense. So possible. And it might actually, see, but my target right here goes beyond it. So maybe we get up here and then we pull back and then we go up and then we pull back and retest and then we head higher. Maybe something like that. So yeah, if you want to watch that, that's what I would look for. In terms of that, man, this thing looks a mess right now with all this stuff in it. We'll bring it right back down here. We did hit that R1 pivot here on the 1 hour this morning. You can see that the price here accelerated through the 1 hour pivot here. Large candle spreads, expansive spikes in volume as it broke out. So that should be definitive that this was resistance and this becomes support now. This was an important area to get through. And then here we go with more spikes again, shooting up here. You've got demand just popping in right now, wanting to really kind of get up there. It's plowing through all that demand. See, what you see here, you've got this large candle, right? And you say, well, Chris, I get a lot of questions about this. And people say, well, why are you saying there's so much supply coming in when you're closing up? This is clearly bullish, clearly demand here because it's, it opens down here, closes way up here near the top. Well, because what's happening is this volume comes in when there's selling coming in. Now you've got more than enough demand soaking it up. So what you're actually seeing here is that absorption that we talk about. Demand is absorbing that supply that's coming in and continuing to push higher. And that's why that's bullish. That's what that means and what's going on here, especially when you get that follow through. All right? Remember, all things held equal, without any supply coming into the market, if there's people who are interested, price is going to float up, right? But so you don't need a lot of volume. You can float up on less volume, on small volume, right? You don't have to have expanding volume as price rises. A lot of times you're going to have expanding volume as price declines, and you'll hit like a low, and then there'll be very little volume, but price will flip up, right? And that's because all that supply got used up getting it to the low, and then there's no supply really to come in to keep price from heading higher. So it doesn't need a lot of demand to make price pump up. And so that's why you'll sometimes see that on that lower volume. But here in this case, you've got supply trying to come in, and demand is just all over. Demand's just sucking it all up and saying, let's continue going higher. And that's what we're getting there. And that's what that means. So, yeah. Let's see here. Let me kind of catch up with you here. Hank, I don't know who you're talking about the super cycle, worse than the Great Depression. I'm not sure who you're talking to there. Hey there, Brian Riley, good to see you. If you're talking to me, Hank, give me more of a post there so I understand what your context, what you're saying. Because nothing's changed that, so I don't know where you're getting at. Unless you're thinking about what I'm saying about the economy right now, what's going on, and you're trying to say, oh, but look, you said it was going to do this other thing. Yeah, well, I'm not saying this is anything that's going to continue with the economy there. Just right now, with where we're at, with what's going on there. Yeah. Let's see here. Voyager BQX. Okay, Voyager and what? USD? USDT? What are you looking at there? Oh, are you talking about for that one you were looking at? Yeah, so which one? BQT. What is it? BQX, that's what it is. I guess we can look at Bitcoin. I guess we can look at that one right there. Is this what you're looking at? Okay, this must be what you're looking at here, the weekly here. Yeah, I mean, that's great right there. You can see that there's just absolutely declining interest as it continues to drop here. Just nobody really interested in it. And if there's no real interest, what I mean by interested in is selling. And you see that by this volume dropping off. And so if there's nobody interested in selling, as I've told you guys before, price is going to rise up. And here it is. And I think you've probably got a this right here. You've got this descending resistance here. So you can throw in a channel right here. And you can see how well this works here, kind of at this resistance where the candle spreads are, support kind of thing. And then that breakout comes right there. So, yeah, I mean, I'd probably look at that and say, well, might have a pattern target here of about 6,575 sats there. I think it's sats, right? We got 4 before it? Yeah. Which just gets you up here right now. It gets you up here of a target of about 12,294 sats. Right now is how I'd look at that. Let's see here. On the daily coming off there, we've got a 1-2. And see, again, you've got this large move up here. You see all this volume coming in? This right here. A lot of selling coming in. And then you see how it's pushed it back down here. But then there's no follow through lower. You see how demand continues to push it up? So supply was spent right here. It was exhausted right here. No follow through. That's really bullish. Continue that up higher there. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 heading up there. A little bit further up there even on the 4 hour. Yeah, I ran all the way through those 4 hour pivots right there as well. Let me zoom out a bit more here. This looks like, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. So maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it gives us a 1, 2. Is that 3 right there? It's 1, 6, 1, 8. Yeah, that's 5. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B. So I think it's probably a flat right there. Let me zoom back into the daily. Yeah, it looks like you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So A, B, C here maybe, and then A, B, C. Yeah. So then 5 down, and so that comes down how far here? That looks like we just completed wave 2 at that swing low. We're down wave 3 now. Yeah, look at that, 61.8. Yeah, I think it's probably wave 3. So if we're looking at that, then that gives us a wave 3 target here of gonna pull it right down there. Up here around 29,229 sats. So 29,229 sats right there. 229, yeah. And then that would give us a minimum wave 5 up here at 35,071. 35,071 sats. But remember, that could change as price makes its way up there. If it overextends along the way, especially, you're going to get a higher move out here. But going beyond that, I'm most interested in this weekly supply structure right here. In this wick in particular. So really kind of 2 targets on that, the bottom of the structure and then the EQ. So the bottom's right there about 40,226. The EQ is right here at 47,940. And once you get above that, then you're going to find the same thing with this weekly supply structure in this particular wick here. And so you'll find again probably initial hit here at the low end at 68,496 and then the EQ there at 78,553. And so that's the way I'd look at that, is it's riding up there. No reason to get any more difficult than that. So yeah. Let me kind of catch up with you guys here. Yes, this video will be available later. Yeah, they're always archived over there on YouTube. I think they stay up for a little bit on Twitch as well, but on YouTube they're definitely always there. So yeah, you can definitely see it there. Oh, somebody else already answered that. Oh, Andrew, you were looking at the bull flag zoomed in more on the recent pump from this past week on Bitcoin there. Let's see here. You talking about this right here? I mean, yeah, we've definitely popped out through that. That was what I had over here. I don't know. I think a wedge probably works out better here. That's this area right here. I think this wedge actually works really well. And, of course, we've got the target there and everything. Bitcoin doing a bit of a pullback here. So look at that. And of course, here you can look at this. They've got 8.5 minutes left on this hourly candle. More volume than the previous hour and much, much smaller candle spread. So this tells you that supply is coming out in control, much more so in this current candle than it was in the first one. So a lot of supply came in the first one, hence the large volume there. But demand just absorbed it all as it continued up there. Even more volume came in, slightly more so has come in this next candle. But as you can see, it's having more of an effect on that demand right now. But it makes sense. It basically tags almost exactly this 1 hour R1 pivot right here. So, I mean, it definitely makes sense. We'll just, give it some pullback and then let it rise up there. The only thing I would say is if it drops below this wave 2 here at 39,876 and 74 cents. If it drops below that, then it'll invalidate what we're looking at, and we'll have to take another look at that count. But as long as it stays above this wave 2 over down here at 37,300, we should be good to go higher. So, yeah, we'll keep watching that. And of course, it's right here above the 1 hour pivot. Again, it broke through on large candle spreads, expanding large spikes in volume. So that legitimizes this resistance turn support, which then you see we got the pullback right to it. Found support, continued up from there. But we'll see how this ends. We've still got just under 7 minutes left here. We could see price rally up through here, demand rally up through and close higher again. We'll have to see how it plays out. Let me see here. Let's see here. Worried about closing below the July 30th high. Sets up for a pretty wicked potential bear div. Worried about closing below the July 30 high. What was the July 30 high? You mean July 31st high right here? This one? You're worried about closing below it? Why? Oh, because you said bear div. What time frame are you looking at? You guys got to give me time frames too, so I know where you're looking here. Oh, potential. Right here on the daily. That's just potential. As long as it continues pushing up higher and RSI closes above 74.84 here. Oh, that's the July 30 high. That's what you're looking at. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's closed up above there, it's not a problem. Just because you may get a close below it doesn't mean that the bear div is in play. Price has to continue to fall to confirm this bear div. Until it does, this can continue playing up here and never become a bear div, or invalidated as one. And this is a pretty strong 3 candle move right here on the daily. These 3 candles are eclipsing what it did in the previous 4 days right there. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons to be a bit more bullish right now on this. I don't think that bear div is anything. I mean, if it becomes one, it becomes one. But right now, I don't think that we freak out or worry about it at the moment. Not until we get price pulling back here and this, pulls down the RSI here. We start getting some closes pulling it down lower so that it confirms that. Yeah. Yeah, so I wouldn't think it's much of an issue there. As far as the 4 hour goes, I wouldn't consider that bear div right here because you've got this large rally right here. And so, you should be looking at this point to this point and then this point to this point. Because this was such a deep pullback and then a push up forward here, it kind of negates really looking over here as far as bear divs go on there. So, yeah, I'd watch out for that because you've got this bullish divergence right here, these higher lows off that swing there, and you get to the lower. No, you didn't. This one dipped down here. Was not the low. Never mind. We've got higher lows right there and higher lows right there. But yeah, again, with this big move here, big move back, on this here, you should be looking locally here, not a crossover here for a bear div. Yeah. Let me see here. Let me see. CJS, what's going on? He says, as I learned, for every one time I took profit early, I waited and broke even, lost 10 times. Lock it in, rinse, repeat, stress down, profits up, life good. Yeah, again, You just have to know how to enter in. That's all it is. And for most people, they don't. That's why we have everybody talking about, that stupid diamond hands nonsense and whatever. Diamond hands just means you don't know how to trade. And it just means you weren't smart enough to get out when it was high. You weren't, you suck, you thought it was going to go higher, so you didn't get out. And now you're hoping it turns around, heads back up, and then it does. Then you jump out and say, oh, look, I have diamond hands. No. Let's be honest about it, guys. And I know you say that to make yourself feel better, and I'm not here to try and make you feel bad, but I'm here to get you to be honest with yourself, because if you're not, you're never going to make the money that you're hoping to make trading. For most people, that's what it is. Diamond hands is not, they didn't come in as investors. Because if you come in investors, then you don't have diamond hands, because you're not worried about the pullback. You're investing for that long term. You understand there's going to be pullbacks. So why you jump around saying you have diamond hands? So if you're jumping around saying you have diamond hands, it's because you're scared. Because you didn't get out when you should have, and you lost all that potential profit, and then you're hoping it goes up, and then it finally does go up, and then you go rattle off about diamond hands. But the reality of it is that only works until it doesn't anymore. Right? So, we have to be honest with ourselves, guys, if we're going to be traders. Don't get into all the crypto Twitter nonsense. It's just going to bring you down. It's going to force you to lose money. Be honest with yourself. Who cares what some Yahoo on Twitter says, or on Yahoo says, or any other social media? Stop caring. They have no bearing on your life. They shouldn't. These are people that you don't even know. Most of them don't even have their real names or pictures up there. Some dang farm animal. Lord knows what they're thinking they're doing. Eeh. Anyway, I digress. But really, guys, be careful with all that. Because, reality check, that's what it means. And if you're not going to be honest with yourself about that's what it means, then how do you expect to really make any money trading? Right? Because you're scared to take profit, because you're afraid it's going to continue running up. And so you don't take profit, so then you lose a whole bunch of profit as it pulls back. And then you're scared it's not going to go back up. But you're hoping. And that's a stressful life to live. Because at some point, it's not going to continue going up. And you may think you know when that's going to be, but I promise you don't. Heck, I don't even know when it's going to be. And I've been doing this for, a quarter of a century? So, again, guys, part of being a trader is being honest with yourself. Don't buy into all the nonsense, especially that's prevalent, that's especially prevalent on crypto Twitter. Why do you think I don't have a whole bunch of followers? I've got, 28,000 followers, maybe? I've been doing this for 4 years, vocally. And that's all I have. It's because I don't get out there and tell people what they want to hear. I don't jump in and play the games and the nonsense. Everybody's like, oh, laser eyes at 60,000. I was telling you guys, nah, we're going to have some kind of pullback here. It may not be the top, but it's going to be some kind of top. Because that's what we expect. That's what happens when retail gets euphoric. We see things like that. And that marks a top. And sure enough, there it was, right? But I didn't tell people what they wanted to hear. Guys, you got to stop worrying so much. Who cares? And I don't care if you went out there and publicly said something online. Who cares? Change your mind if you need to. If the situation changes, if the information comes back and changes, change your friggin' mind. Guys, if you're tooling down the road at 100 miles an hour and you hit a slick spot, all of a sudden, or there's deer all of a sudden everywhere, are you going to keep running at 100 miles an hour? Because if you are, you're an idiot. If you got deer all on the side of the road. Living down here, in West and South Texas for so many years, I know. If you've got deer hanging all on the side of the road, slow down. But it's the same thing in the markets, guys. The markets only, your trade is only as relevant as your information is reliable. And if you have new information comes in that contradicts what your previous information was, then you should be changing your opinion. You should be changing. Crypto Twitter's got it all bass-ackwards, right? They think, oh, you can't change your mind once you say it. You're a loser if you do. Yeah, well, obviously you don't know how to trade. It's what it is, I hope you guys understand. I'm trying to get this clear to you so you stop worrying so much about what the idiots on, look, there's another one, idiots, on Twitter say. It's just going to get you to lose money. Be more interested in making money. Be more interested in making money than being right. You save yourself a lot of heartache and a lot of lost money doing that, okay? Esteban, what's going on, man? Let me see here. Chum in the Water says, I've had a bunch of VGX locked in their platform for months. Or BQX, right? Voyager. 5 tickets to support. They still haven't unlocked it for trading. Voyager definitely having growing pains. See, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Stuff like that, that's ridiculous. The fact that we've been conditioned to believe that it's okay is absolute nonsense. If we're going to sit here and talk scrap about the banks, about the commercial banks, and then we're conditioned to believe that this is okay, who's really the idiot? I think we're the idiots. Because you know what? If that's the situation, it's no better than the banking situation, right? Why do we give Voyager and Coinbase and all these other companies, why do we give them a pass? We shouldn't. We shouldn't. If they're having that much trouble, they need to be out of business. I hate to say it, but man, if you can't get it together after months and months and months, and y'all, I think most of you have probably been there. I know I've been there a few times trying to deal with customer service. On the business side of it, where they get money from me, I had to wait over a month. Which is why we only accept Bitcoin anymore. They screwed it up for everybody. We used to accept Ethereum and USDC and everything else. Now we just accept Bitcoin because of Coinbase support and the issues we have with their platform in accepting those payments. That's ridiculous. We shouldn't be giving them a pass, guys. Let's not get conditioned to the point that we think it's okay that it takes months to get back to us with customer service. That's BS. And I'm talking about that as a business here. I know what it's like to be busy. But there's no way I'd let you guys go months without getting back to you. It's just stupid. Sorry. But anyway. Let's see here. Let's see here. Just kind of catching up with you guys here. Rebecca, what's going on? Says, why is crypto going up in the dollar? Aren't they inverse? As I continue to tell you guys, this doesn't happen at the same time. There are going to be times where they'll run together and times where they'll run opposite. What you're looking for is your larger time frame. Look at your daily, something like that. Overall, the trend should play out differently, opposite. And it does. But along the way, daily, hourly, sometimes, they're going to run the same. It's not an immediate, just because the dollar goes up, Bitcoin goes down. That isn't how, hiccups there. That isn't how it works. All right. But again, I think that's just just the not understanding. And then that's kind of, fueled, even more by, impatience, emotion, because it's like, wait a minute, I thought it was supposed to be this. Now I don't know what's going on. And now I'm scared, kind of thing. Right. Yeah. But they don't happen right up at the same time all the time. A lot of times, they'll kind of ride in tandem for a little bit as well. But it's that larger time frame when you're looking at things like the daily or the weekly, where that overall trend is what you're looking at. When you're looking on that. So, yeah, I hope that makes sense. Tell you, Ryder, what's up, buddy? Good to see you checking in, man. Let's see here. Tell you, Ryder says, if you don't have diamond hands, then you are a BTC traitor, not a trader. It's just the new hold or hodl or whatever the heck they say. And I know it seems like I give people a hard time in here in general, especially on crypto Twitter, but it's well earned. You have to understand, guys, most of the people on crypto Twitter are new to trading. And so they're trying to find their way. And like I said, the biggest problem with new traders, the biggest problem for new traders is that they don't know what they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And so often, especially large accounts that have lots of followers, hundreds of thousands and whatnot, they'll say things and you think just because they've got all those followers, they know what they're talking about. And often, there are many times new traders just like you. Maybe they bought some followers or They know how to market, to say, and what I mean by market is to say what you want to hear, not necessarily tell you what's truthful. And so, you hear it and it sounds logical. But remember, when it comes to logic, you can get to a logical conclusion even if you have one or more false premises. Those premises are what you're using to get to your logical conclusion. But just because you got a false premise and you get to a logical conclusion doesn't mean your logical conclusion is correct. You have to have true premises. They can't be false. They both have to. They both three, whatever you have, they have to be true to get to a logical, valid, cogent result. Because again, you can have an illogical, or not illogical, but a false premise and still come to a logical conclusion. But if it's based off falsities, then it's necessarily false. That logical conclusion is false. Right? You'll have to forgive me, guys. Again, part of my educational thing was philosophy, which included logic. But these are things that most people don't understand. They think, oh, well, this and this mean this. It's logical. It makes sense. Well, yeah, it does. But this right here that you're talking about is not correct. So, your logical conclusion, it may be logical, but it's still not correct. Your thought process, the result you're trying to get to is still not correct. It's one of those things. Q the Exon says, I know what I don't know. Hey, you know what? That's the best thing about education, guys. The one thing I found out, I've got those, those multiple master's degrees and a law degree and all that, is that the more education you get, the more you realize the less you know. So if you don't have any education, you think you know everything, right? And then you get a bachelor's degree and, okay, you still think you know a lot, but then you get a master's degree and you start finding that your education is doing this. And there's all this other stuff out here that you have no clue about. And so you work up through there, and those of you that have PhDs might, know what I'm saying there. You get up to PhD level and you get even more specific. And you go, man, there's a lot I really don't know. like that old saying goes, the fools are the ones that are nice and loud and whatnot, and the wise are the ones that are quiet. The fools proclaim to know everything. Those that know a lot more usually are concerned that they might be wrong and don't know enough. Yeah, all that good stuff, guys. The real life stuff, not just in trading, but in the in life as well. Let me see here. My chart's been stuck for the last 10 minutes or so. Has it changed? Oh, well, the timing's changed. It's changing a little bit. It's changing here. It's just not really moving. If you look right here, though, 42,606, 42,612, 42,614, 42,612, 42,617, so yeah, there we go. It's changing. It's just not really moving anywhere. It's finding, you notice where it's at right here. It's right here at this previous resistance. So you've got some people that are still buying in now, trying to push it up and get it, to continue up through that. Yeah. So. So there we go with that right there. Let me see here. Hamboss says, most people in crypto are not traders. They are buying projects based on strong fundamentals with the hope it will succeed. That's where hold and diamond hands come from. That's silly. That's so silly. That's really just, if that were true, that is like the most ridiculous way to actually get in. Because there is nothing fundamental right now. I'm just a firm believer right now. It's all speculative still right now. Prices are going up because of speculation, not because of the strong fundamentals. Things. We saw this in the ICO. The last phase here. All those strong fundamentals that never panned out, right? Same thing going on right now. And people are going to get hurt again. I mean, they're going to get in and it's going to go up. They're going to think, oh, strong fundamentals, that's why it's going up. No, it's getting up because people like me get in there and say, well, you got enough people believing in that nonsense. I'm going to go ahead and take a ride on this. And we're going to keep it, we're going to keep this going up for a bit till we can make some money, and then we'll just let it go, and then, that'll be the end of that. That's the reality of it. It's still just a speculative market. It has the potential to continue to grow out of it. I don't believe it's there yet. And you know how we're going to see that? Because when Bitcoin hits its top again, when it does, 2017 all over again, you're going to see everything crash down another 80-90% again. And most of the projects will die off. A lot of these, well, I say most of them, a lot of these new projects will die off. Things you swore had great fundamentals. It is what it is. So, people are going to buy on that, and I'm going to buy based on them buying on that. And then I'm just going to get out after I've made some money, rather than hold it through a dying, turnaround kind of thing, reversal there. So, yeah. It sucks getting old, doesn't it, Bill? Distance means something. Samir, good to see you, man. Good to see you checking in. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of true believers out there, and that's fine. There always is. This is something I mentioned back in, back when everybody was first getting with that first downturn at the beginning of 2018, with Bitcoin coming down, and there's the whole big thing about Bitcoin maxis and everything. And I said, those are good. You need those things. When you have a speculative asset, you need the believers, you need the maxis in that to continue to push the narrative so that it gets out there and eventually reaches the masses and eventually maybe can become something more than just speculative, right? And so we definitely need that. I have no problem with them. It is what it is. But, just as a trader doing this for so long, I know, I understand what's going on. And, I can tell you guys this till I'm blue in the face. Everything I tell you guys here, and you say, well, if you're giving all this information away, then isn't it going to be hard to trade? Isn't it, if everybody knows, then isn't it going to be hard to make money? No, because 90-somewhat% of y'all aren't going to listen. It's the way it is every time. I know that. That's the way it is. A few of you will listen, and a few of you will make a lot of money because of it. Most of y'all will tune me out because it doesn't gel with your narrative or what you think. But the problem is, I said today on Twitter there, I posted a tweet there. What did I say? Exactly here. I said, thought for the day, stop allowing your ego to keep you from being successful. And a lot of what I see with new traders is this lack of humility. They believe they know what they're doing, which, if you think about it, is silly, because generally almost to 100% of them have never ever traded in their lives. Most of them have never watched a stock chart before or kept up with the financial news. And yet they come in and they think they know what they're doing. And it's that ego that's causing them to lose the money. It's not because they're idiots. It's not because they're dumb. It's because they're letting their ego keep them from being humble, from allowing them to express humility and to learn. Instead, they go charging out there like they know what they're doing. They get smacked around day in and day out. So if that sounds familiar, guys, do something about it. You are absolutely in control of your life. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you are correct. So why not believe that you can? It's amazing what you can do when you actually believe in yourself. But you got to get out there and you got to learn correctly. You have to understand that you have no clue what you're talking about when you're first coming in. I don't care what other yahoos you're listening to out there. Even me. Don't just because I say it, don't just take it with a grain of salt, or don't just take it as gospel truth. Make sure you go out there and check the things I'm saying. See if they make sense, with other information that's out there. I'm going to tell you it does. I wouldn't be doing this as long as I have if it didn't. But, there's a lot of reality in the things that I tell you. But again, the truth is most of y'all will not pay attention. Most of y'all will not listen. So no, I'm not worried. I can get out here and scream to 1 million people a day how to trade properly. And very few of them will actually pay attention. It's all good, right? Good to have you with us, High or Low Crypto. Tellurunner says USDT seems to have pretty strong fundamentals. Let me see here. There aren't that many traders on crypto Twitter. Most of them are investors who actively manage their investments. Yeah, I don't even think that... everybody thinks they want to be traders. Most of y'all don't understand what it means to be a trader. You're very stuck on the direction of Bitcoin. As a trader, you don't care about the direction. You just care that there's volatility, that there's movement. As a trader, trading is a job, guys. You go in, you clock in the morning, you trade, you clock out the end of the night. You don't care what happens when you're not working. You come back the next day, you clock in, look at the charts, trade, clock back out. All you care is that there's volatility, that there's direction, that something's moving. You don't care whether it's up or down because you make money either way. So a great way, if you guys haven't done it, a great way to kind of try to get used to that, if you really want to be a trader, is trading Forex. Trade the FX market. It trends at times, but overall it basically goes sideways. As countries, peg and unpeg to the dollar or whatever else they're doing, or, to each other, and they try to keep it within ranges. It just basically ranges. So you don't really get attached to whether it goes up or down. But Bitcoin and other equities and whatnot, gold, stuff like that, these charts all move right and up, right? Given time, they advance, right? They rally over time, higher and higher and higher. And so then you're kind of locked into that thought process of, well, I'm upset if it goes down. And that makes it hard to trade. So yeah. See, Taylor says, yeah, I was partially joking on USDT, but it's interesting how companies are using it to speed up capital transfers and evade blockages. That's fundamental to them. Yeah. Same thing we talked about, back in 2018, where I said everything was going, We were talking back then about how stable coins would become the big thing, how central banks would make their own. And because it enables them to do things, and this is especially important for those companies that face economic sanctions. North Korea, Iran, stuff like that. Because those economic sanctions only work as long as you're kind of dealing with, U.S. dollars, really. Because they're usually put on by the U.S., right? So if you're able to find somebody that you can do business with and trade in crypto, what's going to happen, All of a sudden that business gets done, right? So it definitely undermines the power of larger nations who are trying to be in control. You think of things like G7 and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that's a dangerous thing, because what do people in positions of power do if they feel like they're losing the effectiveness of their power? They tend to employ it even more, right? They tend to be even more harsh. And so, when you look at things like crypto regulations and stuff, be watching for that. See if that crypto regulation is becoming really harsh, not just because it bothers you, but see if it's really becoming harsh in what they're doing. And you're going to see that it does. Because as long as crypto is able to nullify their power they have to make countries do what they want, that's going to scare them. They're not going to, it's the scare of the loss of power. And so they're going to ramp it up. That's what anybody in a position of power does. If they feel like their power is being removed from them, they, is more ineffective, being less effective, then they're going to use even more of it. They're going to hit they're going to use that hammer even heavier. Try to get that power to work. Because if they lose that power, then they can't get to do the things that they want to do. So, yeah. Let's see here. What about a big 1 to 5 down, like 62 to 30 was wave 1, now wave 2, about 50,000 pullback, then new low? It's possible. It's possible. That's what we've talked about. That was this, the bearish purple count, remember? So right now, if this is bullish, we've got a 1 up here and then a flat for a 2, and then either 3, 4, and working on a 5, or this is, what am I trying to say here? If we put this count in here. Or this is this interior 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that'll give us a 3. So we go 1, 2, and then 3 way up here. But the purple count is right here, and that says, well, we've got 5 down is A, and this is A of B, and then B of B is the flat, and then 5 up will get us C of B. So again, A down here, B up here, and then you have C down to around 23,000 at least. Potentially lower. But, you know, as we continue to watch here, the idea that this is maybe wave C here and 4 is done is the idea that this is wave 3 up here, and this is ABC for A, ABC for B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for C. And that gets you 4 there. And we don't know which one it is right now. We don't know. But, you know, I think if we're pushing up into this area here, that starts making a big case for this being the bottom here. I think it's already making a pretty good case right now anyway. But we still need to see that follow through. Yeah. Still need to see it. We don't blindly draw or blindly trade, right? Got to make sure that we understand what the possibilities are as we do it here. So yeah, this could still be just wave B kind of playing out up there toward, you know, potentially 50, something like that. But I think what's going to happen is the same thing I talked about before. You see right here where we're at? This was my initial target area, remember? It was this first rally back up here. And I said once we break through that, we might see a stronger bit of a rally happen here up to 50,000 through this area. And that 50 right here is that higher volume node, which is, you know, just this other area of interest here. But we might see a decent move up here, up to 48, 50,000 from where we're at here. Nice acceleration up there. So, yeah, I think that's definitely possible as we get in there. Let me see here. We've already got this done, so I'm going to get rid of that. But for right now, you know, the trend is definitely up off the lows. And so until that changes, I think you just keep on looking up there, you know, for those higher targets. We had this candle right here with the large volume, and we had the pullback here, make its way through. But kind of what I was talking about earlier, it looks like it may not get any follow through. We may have demand. The demand may have just completely absorbed all this here, and demand will continue pushing up. We'll see, but it's looking like that right now. We'll see if we can get a new higher high off that. Let's see here. Everyone in this space should read The Treasury's War. It's what's playing out with Binance right now. Well, there's something to check out. Report back to me on Tuesday, guys. Let me know how you think. What you think of it? But I don't think, you know, unfortunately, guys, I don't think there's enough of y'all out there really doing some real research, not into the nonsense on crypto Twitter, but stuff like that, you know, understanding what's really going on with the dollar. Because at the end of the day, cryptos are reliant on fiat, guys. Then they may change in the future, but right now they're relying on fiat. So whatever's going on with fiat is going to determine what's going on with your cryptos, more or less. And so if you don't understand what's going on with the Fed, if you don't understand what, you know, how QE really works, if you don't understand that real inflation is actually created at the bank level when they print loans, and then you get disinflation or even deflation when people are paying back their loans and not taking out new loans. You know, if you don't understand these things, I think it just sets you up for a world of hurt. I finally saw the other day, somebody mentioned that finally this whole idea of hyperinflation has died down. I mean, that was about the most ridiculous thing I'd heard. I was pretty vocal about that and why. But it looks like the searches for that are down now significantly off their ridiculous high there, in spite of inflation being where it is. So that's good. People aren't taking that route so much. So that's good. There's hope for y'all yet. I mean, yeah, you know, right now, Mark, he says, I don't think you can have crypto without fiat. Right now, I think crypto is definitely reliant on fiat. It could get to a point eventually where it's not, but that's only if you get to the point where the central banks, you know, roll over to cryptos rather than fiat based. You know, they get to their own stable coins and stuff like that. But I think until that, I think you're right. I think you need fiat for crypto to remain valid, because people are buying crypto for the fiat return on it, Why do you think everybody's so interested in price? Why do you think everybody's so hell-bent on it going up and it gets so depressive when it goes down? Because they're looking at the fiat. That's what they're interested in. Crypto is just a mechanism to collect more of that fiat. For most people. There's not absolutely everybody out there, but for significantly most of the people out there, that's what it's all about. So yeah, definitely. Let me see here. I mean, how would it work? I mean, so if you've got your central bank coin, I mean, it's just the same way as your fiat for that country works. It's backed by the full faith and credit of that government. So, how does fiat work, right? It's not that it's money. Remember, like here in the U.S., it's a Federal Reserve note. It's a claim against money that you've put in there. So if we think about it, fiat really isn't money. It's a claim against money. Question is, do they still have it? So, as long as your government is stable, it becomes pretty good. That's why everybody goes when there's risk off in the markets and everybody gets scared. That's why they go into the like TLT. Those are your long-term government securities. Why do people go in them? Because here in the U.S., unless there was just a complete collapse of the U.S. government, which isn't happening anytime soon, guys. Contrary to what the romanticizing of it is out there, it's not going to happen anytime soon. And so unless there's that collapse, then your money is going to get returned to you because the government has the ability to print the dollars, right? To print that money. Now, it may come back at you, worth less than what it was due to printing, due to actual cash reaching out into society, into the system and circulating, which doesn't happen with, as we talked about, doesn't happen with QE. Any money that the Fed's pushing out there is pushing into primary dealers who then just give it right back to the Fed, who gives them U.S. treasuries. So again, basically it's a ledger move, right? So yeah, I mean, that's how it would work. Same thing. And so, as long as the U.S. government is up and running, your money's safe, But don't get it mixed though. If you pull out bills, man, they're just the U.S. Treasury note, or they're not U.S. Treasury notes. They're Federal Reserve notes, right? And so they're just let me see, it's been far out of here. Yeah. So if you look at them at the top here. If you look, I don't know if you've ever really kind of paid attention to it, but if you look at the top there, see where it says Federal Reserve Note? Yeah. So it's not actual money, it's a claim to money that the government, in this case, that the bank has. Which ends up with a whole bunch of interesting legal implications. If you didn't know, when you deposit your money in a bank, they don't actually hold your money. You're giving it to the bank, and then you've got a claim on it. Which gets interesting when banks become insolvent, right? Yeah, we talked a lot about that in one of my law classes. Interesting stuff there. Let me see here. I guess I struggle with trying to reason, though, that a U.S. stablecoin from the government isn't the same thing as fiat. I see crypto as a governmentless currency, I guess. Why would you say it's not the same thing? If a U.S. stablecoin, if the U.S. Fed creates a stablecoin that they can manipulate and do whatever they want with, it's no different than fiat. Again, fiat, like crypto, well, yeah, fiat, fiat is just, again, it's a claim on what you have. It's not the actual money. It's a claim on it. That's why it says Federal Reserve Note. So it just makes it easier to move that value around. Really, what you're thinking about money is value, right? And so you're putting that value into the bank or whatever, and the bank's giving you these little notes that you can give to everybody else, and that gives them a claim to that value that you've given to the bank. I mean, that's what's going on. I know it's a lot different than what you normally think, right? But that's what it is. That's what I meant, Chris, that the fiat is the same as the government coin. Yeah, yeah. And again, if the government creates a, if the Fed creates, Fed coin, that they have complete control over, it's not out there with everybody else. They have control over it. They can manipulate it. They can do whatever they want with it. It's no different than fiat. It's no different because they can do the same thing with fiat. They can print more or bring in more, right? They can print more or take it back. Same thing with the crypto value. So yeah. No, the Fed isn't technically allowed to buy stock. That's a whole nother conversation right there. The things that they've implemented, these special vehicles, these entities that they've had to create to do all this jumping around to get the money so that they can buy corporate debt and stuff like that. Questionable legally, but technically they aren't allowed to buy stock. No, that's prohibited. But that could always change. Congress could go in there and write it in that they could. This is why the Fed can't send you money. They can't directly give you any money, anything like that. That's why it has to go through the Treasury, and the Treasury sends you your money, stuff like that. Yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, no, the government can't guarantee the value of the currency. Sure, they can't, exactly, but they can exert a lot of influence on it that keeps it in a range that they're looking to keep it in. But yeah, no, exactly, they can't guarantee it, or they can't say, whatever's going to be worth whatever later, because it's what people are willing to pay for a thing that determines the value of that dollar. Again, it's that whole supply and demand. So yeah. Yeah, who would have thought the CDC was going to be in charge of evictions and foreclosures? That was the craziest thing, man. When I said, the whole legal side of me just jumped up when we saw that the CDC was issuing a moratorium on foreclosure. I went, what? Yeah, it's a whole bunch of craziness. A whole bunch of stuff is being tried out there now. It just is what it is until it isn't anymore. So, the best thing you can do is to increase how much of that fiat you have. I mean, at the end of the day, because the only real freedom is the ability to come and go as you please. That's the only real freedom. And the only way you can guarantee that to the greatest extent is with money. As long as you got enough money, somebody's going to be willing and able to get you in or out somewhere. Doesn't matter what your government says. Again, they do it all the time here in the U.S., right? Government says, you shouldn't be coming across the border illegally. And you got coyotes running people back and forth across the border, right? Because they got money. They got a way to do it. So money is where the real freedom is. Because it allows you to do things, regardless of whether the government says you can or can't. So, yeah. You learn so much from these streams, it's ridiculous. Oh, I'm glad you're learning stuff, man. Let me see here. Oh, man. So anyway, yeah, a whole bunch of stuff going on there. Let's see what's going on here. So we've got that and that. We've got oil here. Oil has got this drop. It hasn't quite dropped below wave B here. We're still looking for that. This is right here at 67.73. I think what we have here is an A. A, B, C is an A, B, A, B, C is a B, C, A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a C. So you've got this diagonal for wave C here. And then it looks like we might be at wave 1 potentially here on that drop. Let's see what we got going on here. 1, 2. Maybe not. Let me zoom in a little bit more. What we got going on here? Possibly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And then A, B, we'll get a C a little bit higher here. And then we should resume back down. Again, oil just not looking too hot. We had this big drop off over here in July, just over, almost about a month and a half ago. And the drop here, and then the move back up, and then here we are again. So looking for a minimum wave 3 down here, wave circle 3 of $64.89. Potential secondary target down there of $63.69. Minimum larger degree wave 3 here of $62.77. So we're looking for that breakdown below wave 1 here to really kind of keep us going down lower. A breakout above wave 2 right here at $70.18 will invalidate the count. And then, of course, beyond this wave 2 here, this wave 2 of the larger degree at $70.86 will really invalidate the larger count there. So, if we're heading up like that, maybe get a reversal here around 71.80 at this high volume node. But in that case, I'd be looking, this is a 1, and this is maybe A, this is B, and then we'd have a C going up like that. Possibly. So, still possible there until we're breaking down. Once we're below wave 1 here, though, well, really wave B, but when we get below wave 1 especially, we'll be, that'll be continuing this count here if we do that before we break out above the top there. Oh, we're not talking about wise moves, Hank. We're talking about legality. I know you come from your country over there in the Netherlands, and you think that things should be done however people think they should be done. But, there's laws. Laws say things can or can't be done certain ways. So, and they're there for a reason. They're there so that people can go and argue whether they should be or shouldn't be done. Just because one person thinks it's a good thing to do doesn't mean it's a good thing to do. A lot of people think giving out free money to people is a good thing to do. I would argue that economically it isn't. I would argue not even economically, but just psychologically for people, it isn't. Again, it's this whole idea that people get used to being handed rather than having to actually work for things. And there's something to be said for the pride that you get for getting something that you work for. I know I'm probably going to tick off a few if I'll say something like that, but, it is what it is. Let's see here. We've got wave 4 on the pullback here on right here on USD against the loonie. Been following our path up. We had this great breakout here. The target, great easy 60 pips coming off that. I told Discord, our members, that I wasn't going to be interested. I could have bought down here, but I wasn't going to be interested to buy it until we broke out of this, and I did. So I'm sitting in a long right now that I opened here at 1.25105. So right now I'm sitting about 45 pips up in profit. We've been up to 60 or something, but that was just as we hit this wave 3. Looking for this wave 4 to pull back, and then looking for a wave 5 up here. Initially, the R3 pivot right here at around 1.26117. And then potentially up here at about 1.26188. If we do that, this line right here denotes wave B. So coming off my top here, I've got us doing this A, and then ABC is a B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives us a C. So if we're breaking above wave B here at this red line, that should signal that the bottom's in here and we should be heading up. And so for that, again, we'll look for this wave 3 target up here, minimum at 1.27229. But I've got this at either a 1, 2, Roman numeral 1, 2, and then Roman numeral 3 heading up, or a larger degree, circle Roman 1 here, Roman numeral 1 here, Roman numeral 2 heading up. I don't know which one it is at the moment, but in either case, should be headed up. And as it heads up higher there, we'll figure it out. But right now, we need this breakout above wave B here, this red line, to kind of signal that that bottom is likely in and we're going up from there. That'll give us that added confidence that we're kind of looking for. To kind of say that. So, again, potentially looking like a good trade coming off here. Everything else, Euro USD took a strong hit today when that NFP release came out. Great British Pound took a hit against the US dollar. The Aussie dollar did a little bit, not as much as those other two, though, coming off of there. USD yen rallied up, which you expected. So, yeah. Andrew, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Let me see here. Let me kind of catch over. Higher Low Crypto says, free money is like crypto Twitter. Never works out. Aston Risk says, as a landlord, how the heck am I supposed to pay insurance, property taxes, and my mortgages when people don't pay? Yeah, that's been the big thing. You say, oh, well, people shouldn't be kicked out, so we're going to make it illegal for the owner to kick them out for not paying, but then the owner still has to make their payments. The owner doesn't get to, doesn't get a pass. And here's worse yet. Even if you give the owner a pass, even if you say, okay, well, you get a moratorium on not having to pay your payments right now as well. Well, when it comes back time to make those payments, again, guys, this doesn't remove any of your payments. You still have to make your payments. And, depending on your lender, you may have different options to make that, but most of them want you to pay back everything that you owe over that moratorium the minute that the moratorium's over. Some of them will allow you to tack it onto the back, but not a lot of them. So now if you're the owner and you've got to make these payments and you're like, okay, moratorium, I don't have to make them right now. That's great. But then moratorium's over and your renters can't pay you. So now you've lost all that income, all that you would normally use to pay. And you have to go through the process of evict them and doing all that. And meanwhile, the bank is coming at you for the house or the property because you didn't make those payments on it. You can't afford to make all the payments now because your people who aren't paying can't afford to make all their payments to you. It's just a transfer of real estate from individuals and small companies, whatever, to the larger institutions like BlackRock and whatnot. I mean, if you look at it, that's really kind of where we're getting. Why the heck do you think BlackRock's got all this buying up houses, even though the prices are stupid right now? They want to get it and rent them out. Get all the tax benefits and everything from them as well. And all this moratorium stuff just helps them get there in a greater degree. But it's like anything else. When you use government, the little guy's going to get hurt. I don't care what people say. I don't care what they want. The reality is this. This is historically what happens. So it is what it is. We kind of get stuck in all that. Let me see here. There's no pixie dust to solve all the problems. If the landlord doesn't have to pay, the bank pays or it affects their book. If the bank does pay their cost of capital, then currency and depositors pay. Someone always pays. Man, I love this guy. Seriously, man. So true. So true, guys. There is nothing for free out there. Somebody somewhere has to pay. And I know you may say, oh, well, as long as it isn't me, I don't care. If that's your thought process, you need to check your moral compass. Seriously. It doesn't matter if it's a large company or a small retail person. If you think it's okay that you don't have to pay your debts and that somebody else should have to pay them, there's a serious morality problem there. And I'm not saying that you're a terrible person for thinking it. I think a lot of that is based on government. Government's just getting to that point where they're trying to do all this. Gimme, everybody's like, gimme, gimme, gimme. That doesn't help you, doesn't help anybody else. It's ridiculous. But, it is what it is, guys. Life and how it goes and how you feel is strongly determined by how you view it. And those who tend to take responsibility and tend to remain responsible, for those things, in light of things that are going on, tend to have a much stronger psychological stance. They're much less likely to become depressive or to get mood swings, serious mood swings and whatnot, because there's something inherently within you that happens when you take that responsibility. I don't think a lot of people really understand that. Again, as a society, it seems like most people are victims. Well, they think they're victims. They think they can't do anything. Like I said, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. Your brain's going to believe what you tell it there. Where can you find Pixie Dust Coin? Sounds like a good project. Good to see you. Good to see you checking in there, Lewis Winthorpe III. Yeah, and see, Hank, and I don't know, man. I mean, still the fact that you work with the renter, the owner, and the bank to solve the problem where all three contribute. I don't know. I guess again, growing up, and to get where I'm getting, having been through the troubles I've been through in my life, never being given anything, having to work through everything, it makes me kind of cynical toward people who expect that others should help them, or that they expect they should get things for free. I guess here I am going right back to what I was talking about at the beginning with that individual. And I'm willing to admit that maybe I'm a bit harsher than I should be on it. Sure I am. But again, my life experiences have colored my view on things. And it just is what it is. So yeah, I could be, again, I could be quite biased based on my experiences. Sure. Oh yeah, I tell you right to bring up another idea. Many U.S. landlords can defer mortgage payments. They get tacked on to the end. Still substantial wear and tear on the units over 2 years that they are legally required to perform while getting zero payments. Yeah, exactly. More money out of pocket when they aren't getting any money in. Yeah, exactly. Let me see here. Michael Williams says life is not a matter of holding good cards, but sometimes playing a poor hand well. Yeah, It just, it is what it is, guys. I'm obviously never going to convince anybody, especially from Netherlands or anything like that, that maybe there's a lot of issues with the way that things, and they're going to come to a head. Just because they haven't seen it yet doesn't mean it won't happen. But, I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm just here to kind of, at least to let you know, here's the way I see things. This is why, so that way you understand that I don't just ever say things, pulling things out of my rear end. I haven't said that in a while. So, yeah, life is what you make of it, right? Dash, man. So I did this a bit back, and it looks like it's working out real well here. Look at the possibility we've got some accumulation going on here. And then it really kind of kicks in this area right here. And you can see as it continues up through here, you see how that volume expands. Candle spread's getting larger as it does that. Then we pull back to that previous resistance to support. So that's the creek right there, that resistance. Jump across on a large candle spread, large volume. Back up the edge of the creek here, which ends up being the pivot on the weekly here. I think Dash is good to go. If we get a break above right here, that red line at 222, I think that's the added confidence that we need, that things are headed up there. But yeah, I think we should be easily heading up here to that 1646 level, and probably higher coming off that. So a lot of upside potential, I think, with Dash here against the dollar. So that's one of the charts I like looking at the moment here. Obviously, if we drop down, below this swing low here, which means we'll take us below the weekly pivot, then we're gonna have to take another look at it. But definitely, if it ever gets to the point where it drops below here at $33.97.5, that'll definitely say, yeah, this is probably headed down here toward, maybe $10, $11, maybe even down here around $6, potentially even lower. But for right now, things are looking like this. Look at this volume, nothing, and then we start ramping up here. Everybody starts getting interested here. A lot of supply coming in, getting soaked up here, getting absorbed by demand as it comes in there. And we'll see for this to head up. So, yeah. Canada's like the USA's cousin. Might not want to say that. A lot of us here in the U.S., when you talk about cousins, we start thinking about Joe Dirt, stuff like that. Nah, I love Canada, though. Ooh, I have a friend who was just up in Montana for a week, and her daughter accidentally, they were over there by the Canadian border and accidentally stepped across. They were detained for a couple of hours. The Mounties weren't too happy up there, or whoever it was that pulled them aside. And, that's a real, we kind of laugh and joke about it, like they just accidentally stepped foot. But the reality of it is, guys, it's another country. You entered that country illegally. That's big time nonsense stuff. You can't do that. It's not just a simple, oh, you're okay, it's all fine. Yeah, we understand. So they were detained for a few hours for that. Good times. Man. But yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so we've got that there. What else we got going on here? We can look at, real quick here, guys. Let's jump a look at silver real quick. Silver, man. Taking a walloping this morning. Well, a continuation from what already was there. Nice big move down. Looks like we found our wave 3 here. So wave 3 coming in. That'll potentially get us a wave 4. They might find it right here at 2471. Which is just this previous area right here. And then we should head on lower there. See if we can get that. Let's see here. Yeah, that'll give us if we get to that 38.2, that'll give us a 5 at 23.855. And that's a minimum target there. And that might do this wave 5, complete it there. That top. What's interesting is, remember, this is the swing low for the triangle here. This is that wave C of if it's a triangle, this is wave C right here at 24.145. So if we drop below that, that invalidates that current possible triangle that we're seeing here. Remember, I'm looking at the fact that this is maybe the top, and a lot of that's because of this right here. On this rally, strong volume coming in. What I'm going to look for, what I'm going to want to see, we've got some volume coming on this drop here. If we drop below this level, the swing low here, I want to see this volume continuing to increase. And if we're seeing that, that tells me this is probably distribution here. But right now, we can look at this potentially as an A, B, C, D, maybe E right here. If we drop below this, that swing low. If we drop below that, then that says, okay, that triangle is invalidated. But in that point, it could be A, B, C here. So then we need to see, okay, does it get below this one? This is wave A over here at $21.81. If we drop below that, there is no symmetrical triangle here. So before that, I want to see if we're dropping down, breaking below the swing low here, I want to see, do we get that expansion of volume here? Does it continue to rise up? Because if you're getting larger candle spreads and expanding volume on this downtrend, that means you're getting more and more supply coming in, and demand's not able to do a whole lot with it. And so, that's supply truly in control, just selling into just overwhelming demand. So that's what I'm going to look for there. I agree so much with that. Hey, some risk there. De Tocqueville? Yeah. Oh, man, something I've warned about for so long. I mean, if you think about it, democracy is nothing more than rule by a mob, right? Rule by a mob, guys. That's not bueno. Let's see here. So we've got this move down here. My problem with this is it looks like it's a 1, 2, 3. This may be 4 here. So we might still have 5 to go on this. So 1, 2, 3. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gives us this diagonal and this breakdown of the diagonal. Actually, if we look at this as an ABC, never mind. If we look at this as an ABC, that should be fine. We can look at these as, you know, ABC, ABC, ABC. And that gives us just basically this, this kind of thing we're looking at here with the breakdown of the wedge. And so the rally should take us potentially back up here to this green kind of range at 1796 to 1802. Let's see here. Yeah, so that get us right around that 50% retracement. Doesn't have to get there. You know, this 38.2 right here hits at this previous swing low, resistance support area. So we may just make it there. But the idea is that we'll get up toward this range and then roll on back. I think is probably what we're looking at on that. So gold, you know, gold taking another trip down the lane there. But it's still above the wave 1 here. We got to get below this wave 1 at 17.50 and 10 cents. We got to get below that to really kind of say, okay, we're headed down in wave circle 3. And that wave circle 3 has a minimum target down here of that 1588, 1579 kind of area. 1588.40. So, and depending on how this plays out here, it could potentially be even further if this continues to overextend on the way down. So, you know, again, not looking too sharp at the moment, but we'll see how it plays out. We're looking to get below this, for that larger count, this larger kind of count here. We're looking to get below this wave B. Around 1678.50. Yeah. Looking to get below that to kind of get in even the you know, the larger count on that. So that's what we're looking at overall here. I know everybody was excited. I warned them against being excited here when we had this break through this channel here. See if we can get this there. There we go. And they're kind of doing this. And so we break out, fell back in, broke out, fallen back in again. So if we lose that, we should just accelerate on down. And then we'll be looking to make that big break through the bottom of that channel there. But right now, it looks like we've got this bullish engulfing candle going on. So you're probably good to long some gold for a bit here. What I'm thinking. See, everybody asks what the better system is. You know, and it's like, just because, you know, we note that what's going on is just what it is. It's ruled by the mob. That's what democracy is. Doesn't mean... I guess what I'm trying to say is, if we've got that, you're assuming it has to be replaced by something, right? And so as long as you're, you know, replacing it with some other form of control, it's still control. There's nothing, it's all bad. It's all control. You know, when you have a constitution, for instance, and, you know, they take a very liberal reading to it, you know, and whatever. And this is the problem with language. Language is not very precise. And, you know, so people read it now, you know, the Supreme Court reads it now, and they say, oh, well, it means this, you know, and then what do? We have no recourse against that. You know, it's just, it's not a good way to live. I know you're going to disagree, Hank. It is what it is. You live there in the Netherlands. You were raised a different way. You think it's correct. You know, that's okay. I don't have any hate for the Netherlands or anybody from there. I have a hate for governments. I'm not very much a fan of governments, or really just groups of people. Groups tend to, more often than not, bring out the worst in individuals. It becomes this, oh, we're holier than thou. We're correct, you're wrong. And as long as you're wrong and we're right, then you need to recognize and do those things to be with us. Otherwise, we're going to do something to you, kind of thing. That's what all government is. So, unfortunately, not a great thing for people. By the way, you notice we did make this higher high off here, but you can see we had, again, more of a wick up here, less volume. But on less volume, we've got larger candle spread. So, whereas demand was coming up strong through that strong supply coming in here, absorbing it, supply kind of took over temporarily here, but still demand was winning out. Again, right here, demand's still winning out, but it looks like demand's kicking in a bit more in relation to supply in this previous 1 hour candle than in the 2 hours previous. Again, judging by candle spread and volume here. So we're going to see if we can continue getting that break up there. And my thought is, if we're breaking through this area, we might see a quick rally higher, because I think all that's coming in right here, which is just the top of this range, this wave 4 area. So you expect there to be demand or supply coming in there, and that's what we're getting. So I think if we pop on up through that, I think it'll give us a quick move up, quite potentially. Yeah, so. I always get you all started in this stuff, right? Remember, guys, when it comes to ideas about freedom and individuals and groups and whatever, these are just my personal preferences. They don't affect your ability to trade or to learn something about trading. Sometimes I say them because I feel like it needs to be said. Other times I say it just to get a little conversation going with y'all, because I know you'll bite. That's all. But, I'm not a fan of many governments at all, really any governments. I'm a huge fan of many of individuals in different countries. I love people. I hate groups. It's the best way to say it. People are awesome, man. Y'all are all awesome. The fact that y'all are so kind to each other, when we're talking here and everything, hint, hint, be kind. But, with everybody else, all y'all being from different parts of the world and chiming in, and, I love that. I love that y'all can be that way, regardless of whatever your government may say or whatever, some group that's in control of your government may be saying at the time. And I think that's what wins out in the end. I think individuals will always win out at some point. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, and that's what I love here. I love when people think and talk. I'm not a big fan, guys. I'm not a big fan of people being disrespectful just to be disrespectful or because they can't control themselves. I'm a big fan of people being able to have discourse and being able to talk and being able to understand that none of us really know the answer. And I don't know that there's really a way that it does play out in the best interest. At the end of the day, either, but as I continue to say, at the end of the day, either you're free or you're not. You're not some degree of free. You're some degree of enslaved. Okay? Indebted to. You are never just some degree of free. It's not the free, some degree of free is not the opposite of some degree of servitude. Okay? You are either free or you are not free. And if you're not free, then you're some degree of that servitude in there, some degree of that, being forced to do whatever in control wants you to do. And many people are fine with that, and that's okay. That's okay. That's where that individuality is all right. I just know, when you get groups together, you tend to hurt other people, especially those that don't agree with you. And it doesn't matter if you're American, you tout yourself as this big, great, harbinger of democracy or some other nonsense, as if, again, that democracy is such a great thing. Maybe it's good at first if you're coming from some kind of regime that is harsh against everybody. But what you find with democracy is, in time, another group tends to rise. And you get more or less the same result at some point. It's just the nature of what it is. It's rule by mob. And if you have a situation like the U.S., in the way that we're set up so that you have things like lobbying and stuff like that, we're set up for lobbying. It just exasperates it. And so the groups become corporate special interests, which is not only just the big companies you guys think about, the unions, stuff like that as well. And then, unions are a whole other thing. We got lots of horror stories about how if you don't toe the line and join a union, how you're kind of threatened and, other things happen. It is what it is. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I am over here, guys, okay? Yeah, Hank, I don't think you can do gray if you're born and raised and have lived in one culture. It's hard. It's hard. Now, some people, they're able to get the open-mindedness in there. They're getting exposure to other cultures. But that's what you said, have lived in one culture. But, here in the U.S., you can be Little Haiti or something, or Chinatown or something like that, within bigger cities where you're immersed in that other culture. And so you can get an understanding for that other culture. Again, I was fortunate that I grew up in the military, so I've lived all over the world, spent a lot of time in Japan, areas like that. So, from a young age, I was exposed to other cultures and whatnot. So that worked for me. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't get that. But of those that don't get it, many of them can still understand, especially if they have that experience with another culture. Yeah. Hank believes that no government means actual mob rule, actual slavery. Potentially. But, you still get that right now. You actually still get, I got to get out of here. You still get mob rule. You still get slavery, even though it's illegal. Murdering people is illegal in the U.S., and it still happens. And so, again, that argument always fails because these things happen anyway, even with your government. They still happen. You still find sick people who enslave others, who hold them hostage. These people, the stories of these girls, who are held in a basement for 20 years. I mean, regardless of what's going on in the world, what the government says, that's happened. It happens. So, that's what happens. But anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Always glad to have y'all checking in. Sorry I went off on a little bit of a side street there, but, it's always something here to keep it a little bit interesting. And again, guys, I have nothing against you if you don't agree with my particular ideas about people and governments and stuff like that. It does not affect the way that I see you at all. And hopefully you will not let it affect the way that you see me. At the end of the day, this is all about learning how to trade here and learning how to be better people. A lot of reminders on the daily about how to be a better person and to be a better person, to make that decision. Because at the end of the day, you've got what you've got while you're here. Why not make the best of it, right? It'll make you feel a lot better, which means it'll make you feel better about life, be more open to life. Okay? Remember, guys, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. That's it. So keep on working with that risk management. I promise you it is the most important thing. We talk about all these different ways of looking at information and reading the charts and whatever. But at the end of the day, you make and lose your money with your risk management. Period. End of sentence. So keep working on it. It's where you're going to get the greatest return. Okay? Most important thing you do as a trader day in and day out. All right, that's all it is. Hey, listen, if you want to join us at howtotradetowin.com, we'd love for you to do it. That code I put at the beginning of the stream there. I don't have it on me at the moment. I posted at the beginning of the stream, so just zoom back to the beginning of it. Right there at the beginning, it'll be there. And we'd love to have you in there. Get 40% off your first month as Tier 3. So jump in there, and even if that's all you ever do, guys, you can learn a lot more than what you would be paying for it by doing that. So hopefully we'll see you all there. Until then, trade safe. Take some time off away from the charts. Enjoy yourself and your friends and your family. And I will see you all on Tuesday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, all right? Take care, everybody.